Hey everybody, Neapolitan Gal here. Well, today we're actually going to make banana bread. I'm going to show you the recipe, card at least. The recipe card I'm going to show you is not how the recipe is supposed to go. I kind of goofed up on it, but I like it this way better, and so do most people. So here's the recipe card. It's real easy. All your wets to wets, all your dries to dries. Throw them together and bake. Now I've gotten everything together for us already in my kitchen. This way we can breeze through this. The only thing I don't have is my mixing bowl. So let's get a mixing bowl down and show you how to make some banana bread. Now the only ingredient on my entire ingredient list I do not have today is walnuts or pecans. Actually ran out and haven't been able to find a decent deal because nuts are fairly expensive these days. So I'm going to show you real quick. See, my pans over here, I've got 4 small loaf pans like this that this is all going to go into. These loaf pans, I did figure out the last time I did this, they work better if you leave a nice big open area in between. I kind of slid them all together, and when I slid them all together, when I made this a while back, it didn't work out the best. It took longer to cook than it should have. So I'm going to aim this down to my bowl like I've done in my previous cooking videos, and we're going to get started. So here's my mixing bowl. The only thing I have not done so far in getting ingredients together is beat my egg or mash my bananas. So I've got my bananas here. I'm going to peel them. Now, as you can see, my bananas are speckly. I know there's a lot of people saying, ew, speckly bananas are no good. Well, look inside. That is a gorgeous banana. Now, what I can say with bananas is they have found over the last several years that the darker your bananas get on the outside, that is the peel, the better they are actually for you. Now I'm going to, once I get this third one done, I'll beat the egg, then I'll use the same fork to mash up these bananas. Now I'm doing this by hand. I do have a KitchenAid stand mixer, but as we all know, stand mixers or mixers in general can get kind of noisy, and I'm not trying to blast you guys out doing this video, so we're not going to use the mixer. Good old-fashioned fork works just fine. So let's beat up these eggs, this egg real fast. Now, real quick, I'll read off the ingredients list while I'm doing this. It is a cup and a half of flour. You can actually use a couple more tablespoonsful. The few extra tablespoonfuls, actually, if you do the crumble mix on top. I'll post both recipes exactly the same. It's just some of the ingredients I'm going to mix into this today would not go into the one you're going to do the crumble on top for. But I prefer it like this. I've done it like this. I goofed up a couple of times doing it like this, and everybody seems to like this better than with the crumbles. So 1 egg, size does not matter. This is a large egg. I'm going to bump that right into my bananas. If you're not too familiar with baking rules, the rule is there really is no rules. Really are no rules, but I can tell you that you really should do wet ingredients with wet ingredients and do dry ingredients with dry ingredients just in the prep phase. Once they're prepped and ready to go, I've got bananas trying to escape the beating here. Once they are ready to go, then you can incorporate them together. So the ingredients for this is a cup and a half of flour. You can use self-rising, multi-purpose, whatever flour you want to use, because you are going to put baking powder into this, so it really doesn't make a difference. Sorry, I got someone calling me. So what you're going to do is mash up your 3 bananas. I threw in my egg just to make it a little wetter, and I had already used my fork for the egg, so why not? We're going to do 1/2 teaspoonful of salt, 3 mashed bananas, 3/4 cup of granular sugar, 1 egg lightly beaten, a 1/3 cup of melted butter. Now again, I've got all this stuff already together for you, so we're just jumping. The one item not on my ingredients list that I showed you here is vanilla. I like to go with a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons full of vanilla extract for flavor. And let's see here, 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar, I did not do the additional 2 tablespoons full of flour because I'm not going to do the crumble on top of the loaves. And then, what do we got here? Then I've got 1/8 teaspoonful of cinnamon. That's this over here. 1 teaspoonful of baking soda, 1 teaspoonful of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoonful of salt. All that's in here. So it's just, very little of each, so I just share a bowl. Bananas are just about ready. You do not have to mash them beyond repair. You can leave them a little lumpy, a little chunky, a little bit better for the flavor. Now everything's in there. I'm going to grab a clean fork. I want to incorporate everything else into my my flour, and then we'll throw everything in. The only thing I don't think, I might be able to incorporate that in there. So what I want to do is put a lot of this. I'm not going to do the brown sugar into the flour. It will get too clumpy for what I'm going to be doing next. And that was my 3/4 cup of granular sugar. Here's the other small dry ingredients. I'm just going to mix all this stuff together. And then we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, I believe if you're making cake flour, you can add, I'm not sure how much cornstarch. We'll have to do that one day. But you can actually add cornstarch to the flour to make a fluffier flour. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to strain, sift, I should say, my ingredients. Get all the lumps out, all that good stuff. Bananas are lumpy enough. I don't need lumpy dry ingredients. If you don't have a strainer, don't worry about it. Go for it. It'll all work its way out. Get rid of those banana peels. Okay, so I got this at Dollar Tree. So you can certainly afford it. So you want to take this and dump it into there, and then just sift it in. What this does is it gets all of the lumps. If there's any foreign bodies in flour, and we all know that we could weebles and things like that. If you're in very country rural areas, it's always a possibility to get some sort of weevil or something in your flour. If there's just really hard pieces that might have a difficult time in sorting itself out, this will also help with that. Like right now, I've got a bunch of little hard pieces, and more or less, if it's no foreign bodies, it's just hard pieces. All I do is do this. And if they get small enough to go through the holes, they'll go through. If not, they won't. Excuse the dying sounds behind me. My son is deciding to play games on his computer, and it gets a little noisy. So now I'm going to take my brown sugar, dump that right on top. So I've got all my little bowls and stuff here together. Now, you're going to bake this. It really depends on your stove, on your oven, I should say. The original recipe for this calls for 375 degrees. If your oven works fantastically well, doesn't have any issues, 375 is perfect. If your oven is getting a little bit older like ours in our rental unit, I have to take that up to 400. You bake just like anything else. It's all subjective depending on what's going on, but you bake at your temperature, 375 to 400 degrees, depending on your oven, for 18 to 20 minutes. Now, like I said at the start of this broadcast, the last time I made banana bread, I actually shoved my pans together too closely and wound up having to cook them almost another 5 minutes. So now what you're going to do is take your pans. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. Of course, you can make banana muffins. I've actually got little white bowls I could do banana muffins in. You can do loaves of banana bread like this. You could also, I'm sure, put it into a small cake pan and cook it that way as well. I've already sprayed these before anybody hollers. So fill them up about halfway. They do have baking powder in them. Oops, I'm making a mess here. So it is going to rise. So only try to go about halfway. These last two, I mean, I didn't get quite halfway because I've got 2 left to do, like smaller loaves. If you're going to do nuts, and pecans, walnuts, whatever your nut of choice is for banana bread, I think even macadamias will probably work well considering you're a tropical nut and you're working with a tropical fruit. When I made these last week, I oopsied and actually didn't put the walnuts in immediately. I actually wound up putting the walnuts in as I was getting finished with this step. And you know what? I think it worked out better because I was able to gauge how much of the walnuts went into each of the loaves. So I think, that actually may be a better way to go, only because you don't wind up with, 1 loaf or 1 muffin heavy on the nuts and not much else. So I'm gonna run some water in this and I'll get those thrown into the oven. Now I've preheated my oven already. Again, I've typed mine at 400 instead of 375. And I've only done that so we can cut some of this time down. Open up that oven. You can probably see the heat waves coming off of it. So in go my loaves. Now if you got 1 smaller loaf, you can always go through with a spoon, and I'll show you the loaves. You can always go in with a spoon and even them out some, but that's okay. Whoever winds up eating these will be grateful for them anyway. It's fresh, it's yummy. So while those are cooking for 18 to 20 minutes, we're going to start with the 18 and go from there. And I know those of you watching this after the fact are like, well, she didn't have anybody in there. Why is she even bothering? Huh, why not? So any of y'all who saw my Instagram post earlier in the week knows that I am considering doing a hot sauce and hot salsa challenge. There we go. There's the hot sauce made by Pepper Empire. Just happens to be a relative. My nephew actually makes this stuff. I'm not doing this on camera today. Well, I actually might do the salsa for you. The reason this is a challenge, and you guys are probably like, it's salsa and hot sauce. No, it's not just salsa and it's not just hot sauce. This stuff is, we'll start with the salsa. I actually have a jar open in the fridge. This is made with ghost chilies, finely chopped up, but you can still see the green. And those are all ghost chilies. Obviously, there's onions in there, the white stuff, and the red is obviously tomatoes. This bad boy is made with a Moruga scorpion chili, Trinidad Moruga scorpion chili, I should say. This stuff here is made with a lot of carrots, and the heat of this is all dependent upon how much chili he uses in his mix. I will tell you that the salsa is hot but tolerable. It is more like a, it's more like a hot Tostitos. But you actually have, it's more like a hot Tostitos, but you actually have a lot more Scoville units in it than you really expect. I'll try some on camera with you. What I'm going to do is not much of a challenge this go around, so it's not going to make much difference for me trying it for you. Now, I don't really do milk, but I'm actually going to do some chocolate milk for this. My my mouth is not in the mood for this super hot stuff, but we're gonna go for it anyway. Besides, I needed a drink. So this is my open jar. I actually wrote a, I'm not sure if you can see it or not. Ah, here we go. I wrote a caution on it. I work at a small office. It's not a communal fridge, but you know how that goes in offices sometimes. So I wrote a warning on it so that anybody in my office that decided, hey, let's try this. They wouldn't do it. And the warning I wrote was caution, ghost chili salsa. And the reason I put a warning on it, especially like for the hot sauce, the hot sauce I would never take to work unless I knew somebody actually was going to eat it or at least try it. I do have one kid at work I think might be trying it. But that stuff it's not lethal. It's completely ingestible if your stomach can handle it. But it is hazardous to your skin. Now, for those of you saying, well, what the hell is she talking about hazardous to your skin? Let me tell you. A friend of my husband's from bowling. I'm probably just going to do a tablespoon as I haven't eaten anything today, so this is going to go down kind of hard. I might go a little bit longer, a little bit more. But a friend of my husband's, and let me show you real quick. The bits there are green. Actually, I think I missed one. We sell this stuff for my nephew. Let's go Ghost Chilies. He bought a bottle of this off of us for our nephew, from our nephew, I should say, and the hot sauce. And he walked in, he stuck it in his pants pocket after bowling when they were all getting wrapped up and ready to go. And he walked into a wall with the leg that the hot sauce was in. Now, let me tell you, this man still buys this stuff from us whenever we have it. He buys a lot of it. Some of his kids love it. He had to borrow a pair of bathing trunks, swim trunks from somebody at the bowling alley. And he had a chemical burn on that thigh for 3 days after breaking that bottle. But again, if you're eating it, you're only eating a little dab here and a little dab there. You're not actually eating a ton of this stuff at one shot. So the little bit that that you're eating on your food is not equivalent to a 4-ounce bottle. So that's the big difference between what happened to his leg, getting the chemical burn, and the little bit that you're actually ingesting. So I have about 1/8 of a cup of the salsa here. I would be doing more if I would be doing more of this if I had eaten anything today, which I have not. So this is going to go in on top of just a little bit of chocolate milk. So here we go. I know this isn't any sort of challenge. I'm just waiting for the timer of my oven to go off so we can pull the banana bread out. Now, for those of you who think that if I don't get any of the green stuff on my chip, I won't feel the heat. No, that's not the case at all. He does this all together in one pot. So it doesn't matter whether I get a piece of the chili pepper or not, the heat's still there. So I've got enough in here for probably 4 or 5 chips. So there's that. And if you want to, check out check out Pepper Empire on Facebook, and you'll sorry, just saw a funny picture on Facebook. You'll see the peppers he grows. He actually grows his own chili peppers. Let's see. I'm going to pull up his pictures here real quick, see if I can show you. This is actually, it'll show up on the camera, we'll see. This is actually the beginning of the salsa that I just ate and currently eating. There's his tomatoes. He used to grow his own tomatoes, but he actually bought these this time. Those are his ghost chilies. Or is that his cilantro? I'm sorry, that's his cilantro. It's hard to see in here. That is the pot with all of his ghost chilies, all of his cilantro, his tomatoes. And that is the salsa. He doesn't make it very often because it is time consuming. But they do make it at least once a year, sometimes more. These are some of the peppers that he grows. These are the scorpion chilies over here. I believe these long red ones are serranos. So yeah. There's some bonnet head ones in there too, looks like. But yeah. So he makes his own stuff. It's retreated. Sorry, someone just retweeted my my hot sauce challenge. So, another chip. I'm just going to go in for a little bit this time, so it's a small chip. Now, before you guys say, well, she's desensitized to this. No, I'm not really. It's not that bad. Because he knows what he's doing with this. He likes to be able to taste his food. So when Nick makes this stuff, and his hot sauces, he wants to make sure, okay, yeah, you're going to get the heat, but he wants to make sure that along with that heat you're going to get, that you can actually taste what you're eating. My son Tyler. About another 10 minutes, dude. About another 10 minutes. I'm on live on YouTube.
You're live?
Yeah. So, let me check on that bread. It smells wonderful in here. Rising nicely. That's my 15-year-old son. He'll be 16 this time next month. All right. Put the rest of that juice down the sink. I'm trying water in my mixing bowl. So, I know nobody's watched this so far. I'm okay with that. I'm going to share this on all my platforms. Let me know what you think and all that good stuff. Six minutes and 40 seconds. But what I was saying about is salsa, for example. My mom is 72. 2 years ago? It's been 2 years ago. When he first sent down this salsa. We got some of my shop where I worked at the time. Mom came by the store. She tried it. Now, I will say that she tried it, tried eating it like normal salsa. So she didn't really burn her mouth, but you know, her mouth was hollering. But and I'm not saying this isn't hot. It is hot. That's the whole point of it being ghost peppers. But it's hot. I know it's running. It's hot. It's such good salsa. It has really great flavor to it. Show you guys the bread. This banana bread is browning nicely on the bottom. So I'm not going to eat any of it once it comes out because it'll be too hot. But I'll show you the pan that's in though. I'll be right back over. I'm checking out something. My mom should be in town soon, and this bread's almost done, which means I can send her home with a loaf. Yay! I'm sending my mom home with a loaf. I am taking one loaf to karaoke tonight for one of my girlfriends, well, my best friend, really. And I don't know if we'll leave a whole loaf home or we'll take one loaf for the DJ as well. Now, as everybody knows, with hot sauce or anything spicy, don't drink soda. Right, went back for more chocolate milk. Chocolate milk's tolerable, and this will help out with the heartburn. That stuff, that chili, that sauce is going to cause. Now, since I'm done messing with food, I can take my hair down. Yay! Put a little bit of makeup on. I didn't want a whole lot of makeup, so I literally just came out of the shower before this, and well, got out of the shower and dried my hair just before I started the video. So, heartburn pill. Oh, that's what I did add my shopping list. So I know a lot of you have seen the, excuse me, have seen the reports now that Zantac has a carcinogenic, cancer-causing ingredient in it. Great. I just took ranitidine. But that's all we had in the house besides Tums. And Tums only works after the fact, not before the fact. Heartburn pills. My heartburn pills. I actually use generic Prilosec. I have such bad heartburn from a hiatal hernia. It's crazy too. I mean, I can take I can take 2 of those Zantac throughout the day. One in the morning, like one midday. And like last night, we had Taco Bell for supper. And I still had heartburn. It's like, well, hell, why even bother? But needed something to combat that, those chilies. So I'm actually heading out with my mom in about 45 minutes. So she bought a Michael Kors purse a while back. 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Something like that. And it ended up being too big for her. Now, like I said, she is an older lady. She tried it in the store, but you know how it is. Sometimes you try stuff in the store. It's great. When you get home, it's like, yeah. Well, that's sort of her. She thinks it's too big. So, forgive me blowing my nose. That's why I like hot stuff right there. If I'm congested, which this is our allergy season down here, Hot stuff just, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Hot stuff, and you know, it's just a lot easier. All right, so everybody should know the toothpick test. So this is a skewer. It's going to work the same way. My timer's fixing to go off on the microwave, and we're going to go in and check out the loaves of bread. All right, so I'm going to show you before I poke. If I can show you and poke at the same time, I will. You'll find out. Oh my goodness. They're high, they're brown, and they're pulling away, which means they're probably done. Let's find out. Look at that banana bread. Oh yeah, they are done, baby. So, and you got it down. Whoops. Sorry about that. I have a cube holding it all up. A little bit of noise. We're gonna get those bad boys out. I know a true chef would have just folded a towel around, but what I want to be able to do is get up underneath. But you can't do it because that with the towel the same way. Look at those loaves. Oh my gosh. They rise up gorgeous. Oh yeah, nice and firm. Nothing but bananas coming away. Oh, you know what? I lied. That one's not quite done. Okay. Well, where did my... Firm, firm, firm. These two seem to be needing a few more minutes. So, I'm going to take this, on this, and do this. Whoa. I didn't need to wash anything. And that. Slide those back in for a minute or two. In the meantime, we'll check out these other two bad boys. Don't worry. I know I'm sharing all this food, but I'm not sick. Just ask the ghost Chili's talking. Okay, the timer. Let's go with 3. The additional time that's on my card anyway. So. Pretty plate out. And see if we can dump these bad boys. If baked goods are done just right, a lot of times they'll just pull right away. Pull away without much coaxing. So I'll take a fork and bring this over here so you guys can watch me do this. This is the smaller of the loaves I did. Make sure I hold it really well. I don't drop it. And, oh yeah, it's pulling away nicely. It's funny, when I was growing up, banana bread just wasn't my favorite. I like, and I still do like, fresh bananas. Cooked bananas and anything artificial banana-wise, I don't like. But I've grown to like banana bread. So, ooh, look at that gorgeous loaf. Let's flip that baby over. If you had smell-o-vision, your nose would be going crazy right now. Bigger loaf out. Yeah, it's funny how we hang on to things. We've been married 16 years as of this past Tuesday. And I think we've had these gloves, other mitts, I think we've had them before we were married. Isn't that funny how we hang on to things? All right. This should slide right out. Uh-oh. Shipwreck. Looks like this one had one little spot in it that still needs to be cooked. So, whoops. Habit just to reach out and pick up something, forgetting that it's 400 degrees. All right, I'll throw that bad boy back in there with those other two for 2 more minutes, and that should firm it right up in the middle. But in the meantime, let's show you guys this one. This one was smaller, that's why it got done quicker than the others. This baby in half. And look at that, flaky, it's fluffy. It's tacky like it should be, which means it's got the bananas on it. Let's cut a little end piece off. Let's try it. So good. Look at that. Springy texture. Gorgeous. It is absolutely wonderful. And these other ones should be just about done again. It's so satisfying. And for such simple ingredients, it is crazy good. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys.